Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Anton Wheeler, your host of Voice of the People United Community Forum. I'm grateful for those of you that are with us this evening on the original broadcast. I know some people may be watching football, but I'm glad that you're with us this evening. We're going to be speaking with Ms. Sheila Montague, former North mayoral candidate, and Brother Muta Elamine, a brother who's interested in thinking about seriously running for West Ward Councilman in the city of Newark. We're going to talk about some pressing community issues, and then talk about how we can unite to solve them. So just hold on for 1 second, and give us a minute, and we'll be on with our show. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello.
How you doing?
Good evening.
Good evening, brother. All right, what's going on? What's the word? Everything's all right? Everything's all right?
Everything's amazing. I just want to say thank you for hosting this show and giving us the opportunity to share out on some real community thoughts on some issues tonight. And just happy to be here. Hi, Muta.
Hey, and listen, and let me keep it real with the audience. Muta was just plucked out of the sky. That's how serious he is about, representing and provide for his community. He was plucked out of the sky. He had no idea he was going to be on this evening, but thanks to the love he got for Sheila and myself, he rearranged some things, man. And Muta decided to come on, and I appreciate you being here. And what I want to start off with is like, and I'm listening to young people now, so what I want to say is I want to keep it tall with y'all. That's what young people say, and I'm gonna keep it tall with you.
Oh.
But that's some new slang. But seriously, I think in our community we suffer a great deal from policy visionaries. And I think that, it is a lack of understanding of how true governmental policy works, no matter on what level, that keeps us from getting where we need to be. And when I say us, I mean African Americans. I mean, if you look around the country, let's keep it real. All major blue cities, especially blue port cities, except for a few, are run by who? Democrats and Black people. So, my question to both of you, and of course, Muta, ladies start first. But my question is to both of you, where did we go wrong in our community, especially with regards to education? And how do we get that back? Sheila, go.
Okay, so the question is kind of leading, so I don't want to not answer your question, but I want to say I don't know if it's us that has went wrong. Education has historically been an issue in our community since the inception. I mean, we could go back to Ruby Bridges and the pressure, the societal pressure that was against us even being a part of the school system, you understand? And then it was the backlash of that, because even though people know the story of Ruby Bridges, I don't always hear a lot of people talk about the fact that her parents' jobs were attacked. Like her family totally broke up because of that particular fight.
And there was a serious history there. You're right.
Yeah. And so there's always been that issue, that society part, right? But it's also been the issue of, the schools are run like factories. Even the way they are, built, sitting in lines and, in rows and everything. It's made up for a way that it produces workers instead of the scientists and the doctors and other people like that in the world. So these are some things that I'm not sure at all that we as a people or even as a society together has control over. But certain things we do have control over, like for example, we have local control. Because see, I'm a great proponent of everybody can bear a level of accountability, but here in the city of Newark, we fought intensely to regain local control and to sit back and watch the level of corruption that is taking place right now. It is absolutely mind blowing. And that is what I would like our conversation to touch on tonight. I don't want to overtake so much, but
Hey,
I don't.
listen.
Yeah,
I said the
want to
platform is yours. Let's rock.
the
The
people.
platform is yours and Mutaz. Let's rock.
Okay, I just want to end up with just saying this one part because just to your question, I try to stay on the question tonight. When you say that, where did we go wrong? I think we did right as a collective community to fight to get local control back into the hands of the people. But what went wrong is local control did not go back into the hands of the people. It went into the hands of a very small chosen few who decided to ostracize the people. And we've seen that in the way that these school meetings are set up all over the city in disregard for people's lack of transportation and access to get there to be a part of it. And even when they can, we've had more than ever, especially with this last decade, so many executive meetings that take place behind the scenes. So you mean to tell me parents have to, brave the cold weather or whatever the temperature is to get whatever across the entire city to get in whatever location the school board meetings are, just to sit there for hours to wait for a private meeting that happens in the back? And I understand how that could be a tool that is used sparingly in special. No, they're using it in order to create a level of non-transparency to the people. So when I'm talking about the ostracizing the community, stakeholders, the voters, that is what I'm talking about. And it discourages voters, right? People don't even want to be involved when you're doing things like this. So I'm not gonna, I guess co-sign for where the people went wrong. I think the people were right to be actively involved in getting the school board back, but somehow democracy was robbed of us. And that's where we have to start this conversation at.
That's cool. And allow me to come back and double back because I like what you said, but I would love to have an exchange with you on what you said. But Brother Muta,
awesome.
What do you have to say?
I've seen failure through the school system my entire life. I'm 45 years old, and my first school I remember was 13th Avenue. And 13th Avenue School was a zoo. It was a literal zoo. I know that people probably have come up through that and matriculated, sort of like Westside High School was a zoo. People don't understand that we had a whole movie called Lean on Me, and they had Joe Clark and all that back in the day. And this is what Westside High School looked like. People smoking in the bathroom, people smoking in the classroom. The vice principal gambling in the back hallways with us. And so yeah. So when I see what's going on, it's like, all right. I said at that time, because I used to come to school just on Fridays to pass the test because I didn't have any parents. So I willingly did that. And in my mind, I said, everybody who gets a diploma from here doesn't mean anything. Yet and still, as I grow up, these are the people I see in places. And I know that they didn't receive a good education because the educational system wasn't designed to make us build each other up. It was basically get out there, get along, and I guess once you get out of school, you'll find whatever relationships that'll propel you into whatever career fields you decide. Guidance counselors, do they do any guiding? Kids are graduating from high school and don't know what to do. Most people who graduate from these public schools and don't have the proper parental guidance, they go into some type of liberal arts program or social science because those are the less requirements. And when they do that, they don't know what their field is going to be. I personally went into social science because I wanted to be an educator or social worker. I realized once I finished I realized while in college that they didn't make enough money. So I chose the other route. And with our educational system, it tells us that we need to go to school to be whatever it is, or be successful, when we see with our eyes that everybody else is successful. So when I was growing up, they would tell you to go to school to be successful, but I see the rappers, I see the drug dealers. These are the people that we see a projection of success. We don't see long-term success out of it, but this is the projection that America displays to us. And we, especially in our community, when they display visions and pictures and images of us, it's always in that light. So you don't see successful teachers on your TV screen. You don't see a successful mechanic on your TV screen. So when we go in, it's like, all right, either I'm gonna be a basketball player, I'm gonna play some type of sports, or I'm gonna do some type of entertainment. And that's people's modem of success. And I feel as though our educational system is working exactly the way it was designed to create workers. And our community doesn't need workers. We need leaders. We need liberators. And I think that that's a special type of schooling that has to be done.
So let me say this. One of the interesting discussions I've been having is that we as a society in this country have been investing in artificial intelligence, but has not done much to cultivate human intelligence. When we talk about North, that's what we know. That's where we're from. And we see the failure there. What do you think needs to be done to truly deal with the failure in our school system? Because I don't have to be politically correct. The numbers say what they say. If you were a corporation that only did good 20% of the time, your leadership will be fired. If 2 out of every 10 people or your stockholders only made money, you would be fired as a CEO. That's a fact. So when you talk about 23%, 34%, or whatever, here, there, whatever, that means that 2 out of every 10 people can read, write, and do arithmetic at grade level. How do we motivate the community to get behind the efforts to really take a $1.25 billion or $1.5 billion budget, $1.5 billion budget serious, as they continuously see? What people don't understand, and I get into the nuances of it, what people don't understand is that when your school system isn't progressive and isn't doing well, it devalues your property. So what we're doing is we're able to get property based off of sheer will because of our advantages to the ports and transportation to the financial district, which is New York. That's why. But after a while, that isn't going to work anymore. It isn't going to work anymore. So now what I'm saying and what I'm asking you guys, because I know both of you love the community, educators or work with kids, help their families. What do we do to deal with poor leadership? I mean, come on. I thought it would be obstruction of justice. Say what you want about Dawn Hayes. I respect her, but if she was exposing something that she thought was corrupt as a board member and he tried to get rid of her, that's obstruction of justice. The penguin needs to be brought home. I don't want to turn to Batman, but I'm saying the penguin it's a problem. So once again, Muta, ladies first. Sheila, tell me what you think about what's going on overall.
Okay, so you hit on a lot of things there. So let me first say that to the point that you made, which I think is a really good point, in reference to the comparison of corporate America. So you have to examine the goals, right? So if the goals are profit margin or whatever, then yeah, so certain things have to be done. But seemingly the goals are for the failure, because really good teachers get fired, really good teachers get attacked, really good teachers get bullied out of their positions. And nobody knows that better than me, you, and a lot of other good teachers that have had this happen to us, right, during the course of our tenure. So we have the really bad teachers that nothing ever happens, everything is okay. So again, you have to examine what are really those underlying goals and objectives, and are they the ones that we assume they are, or is everything going as it should? Now, with that being said, just to transcend the conversation over to the part of the question that you talked about, Dawn Hayes, absolutely, I'm no Dawn Hayes fan, but I definitely am a fan of Wright. And if her 18-year-old daughter, who was an adult, made an adult decision to file a report of charges for discrimination, and from what I read in the paper, there were teachers that corroborated, her charges. There were other students who had these shared views. There is absolutely no way that she should have been targeted as a board member. There's absolutely nothing that you can say that could possibly substantiate that. And the irony of this is, right, they had a report that they refused to release. Okay. They refused to release the report. But not only that, what was also astonishing to me is how not only did the superintendent vote to have her booted out, but her fellow board members voted to have her out, including the ones that just ran on a ticket with her. Because let's be for real, right? If you're gonna say, I abstain from voting, really? Under what grounds? When she needed your vote to stay. So we see that, the question comes to my mind: who's really in charge, right? When we have elections and we see people such as, I'm going to take it back a little bit. What was her name? She was the principal at Harriet Tubman, Deborah Terrell. When we see somebody who was an acting superintendent run and lose to people who really have no education background at all in terms of educational budget, contracts, or any of that, right? Which is one of the reasons the deficiency there for the understanding of contracts is how Superintendent Roger Leone was able to secure a whole nother, 5 years at his job when he wasn't producing. And we're talking about academically, okay? That should not and would not have happened under board members who were more astute when it comes to looking at those types of issues. But yet and still, those people won out over people who would have been able to see that, examine it, and stop that in its tracks. So again, it just begs the question: who's really involved here? What really are the objectives, goals, and plans? And are they going, the way that some people want them to go, And so, that's my add to that.
Okay. So prior to me wanting to be involved with politics at all, I opened up a spot where as though I was mentoring youth, Alkaline Express. And part of that mentorship was me reaching out to potential candidates and things like that, trying to come up with platforms. And I did meet the candidates for the school board election. And this was before I had any knowledge of it was a this way or that way. So I reached out to every single candidate. In fact, I had Dupree Kelly hosted. This is before I knew anything.
I remember that.
So what ends up happening is nobody from the administration showed up. Not one person from the administration showed up. Most of the people who were running showed up. And what this let me see was it was a disconnect from the people and the actual positions that they were going after. And I was thinking like this is crazy. And then when I seen the landslide win, it let me know that we weren't dealing with part. We wasn't dealing with something that we was dealing with politics. And I thought it was a school board election. I thought that parents could be involved, that this was something that was open to the public. So when they say that Newark got its control back, because this was right after Newark got its control back. So I'm thinking that this was that. At the time, I was attending men's meetings and everything until I found out that this was politics. And when I found out this was politics, I said, whoa. And I seen the dirty nature of it, and I said, well, how are our kids going to learn when there is no connectivity to the parents? There is no engagement to the community. If I run on this person's ticket, I'll win. So I don't necessarily have to be a people person. I don't necessarily have to be involved in the community. As long as I got ties to the administration, I'm definitely going to win. And this is what's going on. We got budgets, we got contracts, and that's what they care about. They care about them contracts, how they going to secure some of them contracts. Now, this goes to the last part. How do we stop this from happening? How do we create a better situation? Right now, this is a fight. For whoever is listening, we are fighting for our kids' lives. We are fighting for our future to survive in Newark, New Jersey. Because if we are producing children that cannot read, that means they will be led by somebody who doesn't have their best interests at heart, and they will not be able to fight against them because they won't have a proper education to read a contract, to know that they're getting jerked, or to know how to stop it. So I think that getting involved and getting active and really understanding that this is a fight.
All right. Listen, I got 3 more questions for you guys, and the last one is a doozy. So get ready. I'm on my Anton stuff. But no, the first 2 is this, right? One of the things that we really, talk about, because full transparency, we communicate with people. We may not agree on everything, but we understand that something needs to be done, and we will work with each other where we agree to get things done. And the advertisement said tonight, how do we do that? How do you propose that we do that? How do you propose that we work together, regardless of what we may feel? Because we all feeling the adverse pain of our elected leadership. So what do we do as a collective to say, hey, wait, my pain is your pain is my pain. Let's work together to get rid of this person inflicting the pain, and then we'll deal with our other stuff later. How do we do that as a community? Sheila, go.
Okay, so I always try to be solution orientated, and that's why I don't allow people to peg me as an activist. I continuously remind people I'm an advocate because I'm for the betterment of Newark as a whole, the county as well as the state. And what I think needs to happen, it's multi-pronged, right? But on a fundamental level, I think that we have to establish a common goal in terms of, attempting to bring unity to, the people who, like you said, are feeling the pain. And I think it starts with saying, what is it that we all commonly want? And I think that's democracy. For a long time, I've been advocating for free and fair elections, right? Meaning, it doesn't matter if I run to win, if he runs to win, if you run, it doesn't matter who's running. Can we get a fair election? And we see that nationally, right, we're getting away from that. I mean, I think today an article came out on a state level with I want to say Phil Murphy, that talked about a transparency, right? We already know that the Oprah requests on the state level have been right. So we have that, and then we have it's the campaign funds. Now there's being some murky waters in terms of these secret PACs and who's donating. So they don't want the public to know, when before this was all public knowledge, but now it's not allowed for us to know. So we see that we're in a space, right, where money is like taking over democracy, and anything that takes over democracy takes over our rights. And I'm talking about rights constitutionally. I'm talking about our inalienable rights, our alienable rights, our rights overall. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but I just did a 24-hour social media campaign protest on IG and on Threads about rights, where I covered labor rights, educational rights, any types of rights that you could think of, family court rights, your rights when you get pulled over by police. I did a 24 hours straight, every hour on the hour, because people who are not aware of their rights, and many of us are not collectively, you don't even know it's being taken away. And then because we don't know, some of us out of frustration are giving it away. And that's what we're doing when we're failing to vote, because we have a right to do that. And so we give it away when we allow the tail to wag the dog and not the dog to wag the tail. Now, by that analogy, I simply mean that when the people are not dictating what it is that our representatives are doing, but we're in turn having our leadership dictate to us what we should be doing. So the thing is, and many people, I know I'm going to get pushback for this, right? Many people have a lot of disdain for the people who ran up, into the White House on January the 6th. And, when you really look into it, right, the Constitution says that any government that is not working for the people should be taken down, right? And so they went in because they felt the stint of the corruption that we all feel. And so with that being said, I think that we have to take back our government if we feel that the government is not working on behalf of the people. I don't know why City Hall steps are not packed. And I just want to take my hat off and commend Muta, because Muta is one man in this city who I did see that had the courage, that illustrated the bravery, that demonstrated his passion for democracy, not just for himself and his family, but for all of us. And he camped out on City Hall steps. And I get it, right? Because it's a very real threat of everything, right? It's a real threat of your job. It's a real threat, if we go real deep, of your life. And I will continue to talk about it. I will continue to talk about the fact that I had 8 bullet holes put in front of my house from the onset when I made a decision to run for office. Because that is real. And a lot of people don't understand. And then they take pictures with, like, when we take pictures with any administration, anywhere that could be involved in any type of corruption. And if you're not speaking openly and publicly against any and all corruption, then in fact, you are co-signing it. Silence is consent. Silence is consent. And like I said, this is not the first time that something like this has happened. It just doesn't get talked about. Like the mayor had a live recently where he talked about, it was him and Shavar Jeffries. They had this panel discussion.
Please don't.
Yes,
Please
and
don't.
he talked about,
don't.
I got to bring this point up.
Sheila, I love you. Don't.
Listen, he talked about Ken Gibson. Talking about
being so you just gonna set me off tonight. All right, good.
Yes, well, if that sets you off,
do it.
I was appalled at the hypocrisy.
Go ahead.
I was appalled at the hypocrisy, because that is not what's going on. Everything he says, respectfully, is just hypocrisy. Like, for example, I could go on, but he went in to say something about global unity or something.
I'm going on record as saying, and not to cut you off, every time they talk, everything I think about is Curtis Mayfield singing from Superfly. Go on. Little child running wild. No. That song, that album, Superfly, really broke down how we was living in this country and how our people was an adverse objection to us coming up.
I gotta check it out.
What?
I think I was listening to Shaka Khan.
You gotta listen to Curtis Mayfield, okay?
Okay.
Isaac Hayes.
I'm gonna listen to it and get back.
Them were revolutionaries in music, all right?
Well, that's when we had revolutionaries. Now what we have,
all right,
people who are just thinking about themselves. And like I said, so he called some type of town hall meeting, and I think
who called the meeting, Sheila?
The Mayor Raj J. Baraka, and he literally blocked people from being in the meeting, but the meeting was supposed to be about everybody coming together, and it's like you don't want to hear anything against what you're saying, and the mindset that goes into the fact that you are always right. You can never entertain any other opposing thoughts opposite of you. Like there's something really wrong with that, and it's really wrong in terms of the disrespect to democracy overall, that you won't even allow people on your live community podcast unless it's somebody that you feel is in total agreement with you. And even in disagreement, I have never just openly came out. Like I've been greatly disrespected. I only talk about the issues. I keep everything I say to the issues, whether it's social justice, whether it's about the water. And this is just one more point of hypocrisy I want to hit on. With him, in the total disrespect that he shows to President Trump. Now, like him or not, he's in a position of the leader of the free world. Now, Raj J. Baraka wants us to respect him on a community level, or we can't even come into the chats. But you disrespect this man on a national level, then turn around and pen a letter asking him for help with the water when you said there was nothing wrong with the water. So this man forks over $100 million for the water, which you promptly waste by using developers who get you for almost most of the money. And now you turn back around saying that you're going to support an anti-Trump anything, a protest with 232 something organizations. It just smacks of the misuse of identity politics. You know, and that is something that distracts a lot of people, because people will say, oh my God, yeah, Trump is racist. So people are busy, people are working, people are inundated with and overwhelmed with everyday responsibilities and bills and trying to maintain their homes. And then, you know, they pay for these news stories that talk about that the homelessness has went down 50%. Homelessness has went up 24% when we were already 9% of the homelessness that existed in the entire county. And 70% is Black. And you cannot go to any Black legislator right now. I double dare somebody to tell me what Black legislator we can go to and that is going to voice our opinion. Because our Hispanic brothers and sisters have that. Ocasio will go hard for her Hispanic family, as she should. She's supposed to be there to represent their voice. That's the reason why we fight to have Black leadership, right? So we want our voice to be heard, our collective voice. And how can our collective voice be heard when you don't even allow for it in a town hall meeting? When you dictate, you guys are going to write on a card, and if we want to read it, we will. At the end, we throw it away because there's never any follow-up. And I could go on, but you get the point. It's just total hypocrisy. And if we're going to have solutions, right? And I want it to be known. It's not that I'm criticizing him. This is not personal. I'm critiquing the leadership practices that has been going on, that are still happening, that these need to be examined, especially for a candidate that is running for a gubernatorial position in the state. It's not enough that we share the same skin color.
Sister, let me explain something to you. New Jersey and California have the two most powerful gubernatorial positions in the United States of America. More powerful than New York, more powerful than Texas, and I'm talking about other port cities now.
Right.
The governor of New Jersey has absolute patronage. Most states, other states, you got to run for attorney general. You'll get appointed here. So what I'm saying to you is, and it was funny, we saw a quote. So you're gonna turn the Garden State into the garbage state.
Yeah, I saw that.
You're going to tell me you should be governor where you didn't know that a fake country didn't exist. Now I said it. Well, I say what I want. I ain't mad.
The truth is the truth.
Truth is the truth.
And the facts are
no, wait. And you're a school teacher. I'm a principal. This is my brother now. Hey. You smart? Who you protecting? Who you doing dumb stuff for? At the end of the day, and then there's always these rumors that cloud everything. There's a grand jury panel. There's a 5,000-page indictment coming. There's all these. Listen, I don't wish jail on no man, but I'm saying to you, don't think you special. Don't think you special, because when a prosecutor wants you, they'll come get you.
Yeah, they break their tools
all the time. Especially we live in a country that's paid $700 for a hammer. The Pentagon pays $700 for a hammer. So but back to the focus. The second question is this: is there a light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah. It's always hope. Always.
No. You're right. There's always hope. But is there a light at the end of this tunnel? Because this is what I want to say to you. And this is why, it was important for me to talk with you guys this evening. We're projected in 2020, between 2025 and 2030, to lose 85 million jobs. And most of those jobs will be lost to artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about a city, the largest city in the state of New Jersey, that gets $1.5 billion in education, that our kids can't read and write and do arithmetic on the level of this scale. How do they advance to the scale of AI to be able to take advantage of those jobs? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, bust everybody in the head. So what I'm saying is,
so I mean, those are valid points, right? Those are valid issues. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the issues that we have are multi-pronged. We have so many different issues, and that's a huge one, right? And the fact that we get that much money, I'm sure, is going into the decision for the current the incoming administration to say they want to shut down the Department of Education. And everybody is like, oh my God, how, why? Well, who's doing the oversight? The parents who don't come to the school board meeting are not doing the oversight. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I get it why they don't come. I'm not even judging, because I get it, right? And that's multi-layered. But again, you got $1.5 billion and the kids can't read or write. I'm not talking about math magicians or rocket scientists. I'm just talking about reading or writing, but you want them to vote? So you see the politic really corrupt. And just to add on to what Mutaz said earlier, recently I ran for Congress, right? And I saw the exact same thing. Same pattern of behavior. The candidate for the current administration failed to come to the second last and only other debate that we had. But yet, and still, she won. She didn't even pass the petitions in. Her petitions didn't pass. Now, somebody like myself, they fine-tooth combed it, which is fine because I'm somebody who I play by the rules. But some people don't have to. And I'm not talking about opinions. I'm talking about facts. We literally, Oprah requested her petitions. They were not there.
Sister, let me say this. One of the things that I had to, really respect about some of the things that you do is that, you provide receipts. What I'm more disappointed in, and Brother Muta, I want you to come on because I got one last question for both of you. What I'm more disappointed in is the people that claim that they're freedom fighters, but really just wanted to get in a position to do what they claim the elders before them did politically. And to talk about our ancestors that fought for rights, or the freedom fighters that led people to freedom, but you censor people that look like you. You disenfranchise through voting people that look like you, only because you are black, or you're a woman, or you're the first this or the first that. I just think they've done us a great disservice. And Brother Muta, I want to get your feelings with regards to the education position, and get your position on that as well. And Sister Sheila will round out, because I got one last question for y'all, and it's going to be funny.
Got it. All right. So I do believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I believe that we got to break down some barriers, though. So I'm a firm proponent that protest works. A lot of people don't think that protest works because we have protests with 200 and something organizations, all co-opted organizations, doing a quote unquote protest. So when people look at stuff like that, they
you talking about Pop? You talking about Larry Ham?
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I just want to know. I don't mean no disrespect to the brother, but anybody named Ham, I don't like pork. No, I'm sorry, Sheila. I'm sorry. I'm just joking. Go ahead, brother.
So, but it ain't just Pop. It's a lot of it's these organizations.
NAACP, Urban League, all these organizations that sold out and then got disappointed by the Democratic Party. I got you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when we see punt fakes like this, when the people see punt fakes like this, and then they see these same people buddied up with the administration that are treating them bad, what they say is, listen, that protest ain't about nothing. But one thing I seen the library protest and get money. I seen the ports protest and get money. Every time I see real people protest and come together, I see results. So my thing is, all pathways to liberation are valid. So whereas though we need policy, right? We got smart people in our community that could put policy together. But we definitely need that spear that's going to break down them barriers. So if we only got people that's pushing policies, what happens is they can be trumped by the people that are in the administration, because it's more voices behind that veil than it is with the person that's pushing the paper. So now if the people that's pushing the paper got the people that's going to break down the walls with them, now we got something else. We got a couple lawyers on deck with us. Now we talking about a serious movement. And the only way civilization is created is we all, like, everybody coming together for one common purpose. So understanding what's the purpose. All right, education is our purpose. We want our kids to be educated so that they're ready for this new and bright future that's coming. All right, we understand that our schools aren't preparing us. If they just had the paper with the list of all the schools, and none of the schools was over 20%. None of the schools was over 20% passing rate. I got upset. I got angry. I got emotional. I wanna go knock on some doors. Mm-hmm. Me knocking on doors by myself ain't gonna work. They just gonna close the door in my face. However, if we got a school that's only got two or three kids that's passing, we got to surround that school. That school need a brigade outside. We need to be Leon. He's sitting have a peaceful day at the Board of Education. His car should be surrounded. What are you going? This man receives hundreds and hundreds of $1,000. The average person, the average family in Newark doesn't make over $60,000 a year. Who is he representing? How can he represent you? His financial, his economic status is not the same as yours and your kids. His kids not going through that. Let's take a principle like.
Do we have kids? Do we have kids?
Nah, of course not. You come on. You know. Never mind.
No, we're not doing that. But please finish. I have one last question.
I
love it.
I want to give an example, right? We got a principle that we put on a pedestal, Akbar Cook, and I'm here for him if he asks for help. However, we got a picture of Ellen DeGeneres on the walls of West Side. Akbar Cook hangs out with rappers and these famous people. So his disposition, he said on one of his lives, I make more money outside the school than I make in here. So his disposition isn't one that we suffering from. He want to be famous. And I don't mind a principal being famous, but I think that we got more pressing issues than social media influence. And we can't just understanding that these issues are so dire that we need to be willing to fight. I'm talking about physically. Physically, if it's only three third graders at your school that passed, somebody need to be getting the shit slapped out of them. Somebody need to get the shit slapped out of them. My son is 7. He just turned 7. If he did not know how to read by 7 years old, he couldn't play a game. He couldn't he couldn't have no fun in my house.
But isn't
that the responsibility of the parents to ensure that their children learn?
Can I just intervene for a second?
Go ahead.
And there's a bigger issue going on at Westside High School. I have went to the school board meeting to talk about it. For the first time ever, my name was taken off the list. I wasn't allowed to speak. I wrote a letter to Roger Leone. I know that they were doing an investigation, but the issue is this. They have teachers inside of the classrooms that are not teachers, that they're not affiliated with gang members. They are declared gang members without credentials. And those people should not be in classrooms teaching kids. It has even led, allegedly, per a student that shared with me. And if we wasn't short of time, I would actually even let you hear the audio of what she said. That there's literally these guys sitting in the classroom. And so if your son, a child, is sitting in the class saying, "Look, I don't want to be in a gang. I don't believe in that," they're ready to fight them. And it turns into a physical altercation on a couple of occasions. So this is not an atmosphere that's healthy for a child. Just because we live in Newark, just because we may be economically strapped, many of us as families, that does not mean that anything goes in these classrooms. And this has to be brought to the forefront. It has to stop. And like I said, until this day, he has not followed up to even respond. And what's going to happen is, like I said, I just outed this right now. I've given him an opportunity to respond. As far as I know, that principal is still over there. It's not personal. I don't know the man. But what I do know is very, very dangerous to have somebody like this in front of our students allowing these types of situations to take place. And we got to change the lens.
And just to go, let me add on to that. Prior to him becoming principal, there was a big gang war at Westside between the number blocks and Bradley Court. One of the kids got kicked out. The parent came to me and said, "Muta, what could you do?" So we went into the school. We had everybody come to the auditorium from the number blocks and from Bradley Court. We found out that it was over a female. The people who brought weapons in, those people got expelled, and the beef was over from that point on. So that whole year went by without any more incidents. And the next year, he got appointed as principal. That came from a parent saying, "Listen, I know that you in Bradley Court, you could talk to these kids," and whatever the case may be. So what happens is when people get to these positions, they don't feel as though they feel as though they don't have to go to the community anymore. So whereas though I have a community center where we teach our kids how to read. So I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. I'm saying because I'm resource strapped in, they know what's going on, and it's a housing project, and nobody's providing any resources for that place.
But resources are being given.
I'm talking about for the people who doing the work. So,
but that's what I'm saying. No, but the resources are being given if you are affiliated. I didn't pull no punches.
No, absolutely not. This is what's happening.
And so again, it begs to the question: what are the objectives for our kids to tank, for our kids to fail, for our kids? I mean, they have all of these weed dispensaries. Like, it's just everything negative is just like bombarding. Okay, you have this constant talk about 50 years of hip hop. Do you not see every popular hip hop person coming out declaring how it was a total farce and how it was set up and designed for us to lose? Yet the city of Newark can't stop saying enough about hip hop. They done closed down, kicked out everybody from Dayton Street Projects to give it to KRS-One to be a hub for hip hop. Are you kidding me? So I don't know if they're out of touch, which I doubt that that's the case. I just feel like they're following an agenda, and it's not pro-Black at all. And I think that same agenda, people are seeing it, and it's showing up in the vote, which is how you get an incumbent mayor to only get a little over 10,000 votes, and myself get 5,000 votes. And again, that's with no campaign manager, no campaign money, no campaign office, because people are afraid because of the affiliations. Let's call it what it is. Because if this was Cory Booker, everybody felt comfortable to critique, because that's all it is. It's a political critique. Well, I like you and I don't, or these are the reasons why. It's all, but no, now you can't even critique somebody because it's dangerous. Why is it so dangerous now?
Miss Alana Joyner said it's demonic.
It is. I agree 100%.
Well, I got one last question for you, and I thank you both for this hour. And I said it was a doozy, but it's just real. Next election cycle, what are you two doing? I got your tongue. Ladies first. We doing ladies first.
First every single time. This time is going to be Mutai.
Next election cycle, brother. What are you doing?
So for those listening on, I will be running for West Ward Council. I am a Newark resident. I live in the West Ward. So my way of fighting, I'm going to be protesting and running at the same time. So I still think protesting is a tool that we need in our toolbox. But also I understand that if I'm looking at the landscape and I don't see any viable candidates, then if I don't do anything, if I don't step up, then that's me allowing anything to happen. So with that being said, I feel as though this is a time that in history that I must step up. I'm one of the only people, that is stepping up for West Ward right now that has the actual track record. So a lot of people, we might see a lot of people come out the woodwork when election time come up to try to run, but when we look at their track record of what they have established in the community, what have they been doing over the past decade, then we going to know that it's not really that many people doing anything. And because I've been doing so active, it's like, all right, I can't just like I look at it as I look at the West Ward in Newark as an investment to me. I look at my people as an investment. So I'm not yet done investing in my people. So I look at this election as a way of me investing my sweat equity into my people.
Okay, brother. All right, sister. You got the last word. Let's go.
So certainly I'm in the process of doing an exploratory campaign where I'm weighing in with people to see what it is that they would like to see for their city in the direction that it goes for the next electoral period. Now, with that being said, if this is my thing, much like what Muta said, I know that I have the skill set. I know that I'm qualified, but it's not about that. If I thought that there was somebody that was going to run that I would think that would really have the best interests of our community, I would happily take all my organization and everything and put it behind them. But what I'm not willing to do is to have somebody just pop up during election time, because anybody who knows me, I do not stop fighting for Newark. I do not stop fighting for housing. I do not stop fighting for education. I do not stop fighting against environmental racism. I do not stop fighting against anything, any of the issues we have, homelessness, you name it. I'm always on the line, and I live my life in that way. So to live my life in that way, and when I look around, I always see Muta. I always see Manera. I always see Felicia Austin. Like, let's keep it real, because we can name these people now. There's a certain about 5 to 6 people that I always see year after decade. But every time it's election time, we have all of these people that just come out of nowhere. And matter of fact, let me plug in that I always see George Tillman, because he earned that. He's running in the Central Ward. I always see him fighting for labor, fighting for.
I want to get him on the show. I got to reach out for him, and whoever has the connection. But I'm definitely going to reach out for him. But I want to get him on.
I will put my name on. I'm not voting for or supporting for somebody to get in a position, because I live here. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a homeowner. I need somebody that's going to do. I don't need what's happening now. I don't need a person that, oh, you don't like so many people. You might not like me, but I live here, right? And I have something to add to the fabric. Like, for example, I know that there's candidates right now planning on running in the West Ward, but because they don't like that I advocate for people, they don't even include me. They have meetings and they don't. How can
you're a district leader? Weren't you a district leader, or you were? Or
I wasn't, but I'm not a district leader anymore, and I'm going to tell you why. The councilman Dupree Kelly, he didn't like that I was critical of him. So he doesn't like any woman that's critical of him. He took, what's the young lady name with the baby that had the issue with the lead? Shakima. I can't think of her last name right now, but he took her to court, right? And then he turned around and he got his chief of staff and another young lady to run against me for district leader. Now they won by 1 vote, but I went downtown and found out they hadn't counted me and my husband's votes. So as they counted me and my husband's votes, they gave him another 1 vote ahead of us, right? And so after they gave him that, I petitioned to get the actual voting record. Mm-hmm. So why did they allow 6 Republicans? Because that 6 vote made a difference between the win and the loss. They allowed 6 Republicans to vote in a Democratic primary. It should have never happened. And so when I went down there to try to address it, they gave me the run around, and that's just what happened. And when I called Chicozy to ask for some assistance, because that's whose slate I ran on, and as you know, somebody in the group of lawyers or whatever, he didn't even take my phone call, and then he sent me a text a day later to say that he would get
Chicozy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Modia Butler and Cory Booker person.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
Listen. I want to end this night on a good note.
Thank you for that. I didn't realize that.
I don't feel like turning into Anton right now. I was cool being Leonard.
We have to again, because the people need to know.
What the biggest thing that we need to understand about politics are relationships, and we are made to focus on issues, but the big dogs are focused on the relationships that they have. Didn't you see Barack Obama smiling with Trump the other day?
Come on.
So, listen, I don't have time for it. One of the best things that have ever happened to me is that God shut my lights off for 8 minutes and I woke back up 3 days later. I ain't scared of shit.
That part.
God
That
bless.
part.
I ain't scared of shit. And if you tell me you're gonna kill me, well, I died before. And if you think I died before for God to bring me back, for you to take my life,
Yeah,
let's rock.
that's right.
Let's
Absolutely.
rock.
Absolutely.
So my thing in saying that is we have to do better at how we coalesce. We need to be collegial in our respect for one another and our respect for each other's ideas, and really go deal with these fake elitist BSs, these boule gatekeepers, and all these other cats, because we can't get success and defeat the barbarians at the gate until we defeat the barbarians inside the gate.
That's right. I agree.
The oppressor will never be able to keep their foot on our necks unless someone from amongst the oppressors helping them.
Yeah.
So, I have no concern about Dupree Kelly. His name is not Do It All. His name is Dupree. That's what his mother and father named him. I care not about what Jacozier feels. He's a Cory Booker and Modia Butler shield. I said that here on my show. I dare somebody to tell me something different. He was a part of a political campaign movement, bottom up management with the current chief of staff.
So is that why only him and Dupree was able to get campaign offices? Because I tried for 2 years.
You know what's funny? I don't even understand how anybody has a question about his existence. I mean, no, I don't understand how anyone can have an answer about their existence at all. Who are they? Like the mere fact that you are able to ask me a question about who they are relative to North politics and North, a rapper and a who?
Ooh.
Anton Wheeler said it. Tell him come check me. I ain't going nowhere.
Hey,
I said it.
Just to give a small bit of history on how ineffective Dupree Kelly is, and that wasn't his campaign office. We know that, Sheila. We know that wasn't his campaign office.
No. As a man, he got chumped by them cats the first time he ran. He got chumped, and they took over his community activity that he was trying to do to grow. And chumped them. They
now
like
he's bullying women and getting chumped. Wait, hold on.
Look. They mush smacked him. They mush smacked him into submission.
So I won't make this stuff up.
Tell him to debate me.
I want.
Tell him to give me 12 hours in any topic he want.
Wow.
He can make it up. He can say we could debate about fish in West Side Park and there's no lake. He can say we could debate about a pipeline on South Orange Avenue that doesn't exist. Him, Jacozier. I feel good because I had a big rock sandwich. I feel good about myself right now.
Okay.
Let's debate the issues. Bring your law degree, your floor degree, and your platinum albums. Bring your law degree and your platinum albums.
Do I got to get back in the studio?
Give me 8 hours. Forget 12 or 24. Give me 8 hours in a pool. Matter of fact, give me 2 in a podium. In the middle of a school day. What I'm saying to you and what I'm submitting to the both of you is that who understands policy and issues really? We got celebrities. We got popularity contests. Every election in North for the past 25 years has been like a student government election. Who's the most popular jock? So whenever somebody really want to sit down and debate, and they want to talk about taxes, they want to talk about, abatements, they want to talk about how municipal cities that are port cities can really help educate our kids through technical and vocational training, and how we can incorporate that and make sure the governor teaches us how to fish as opposed to giving us a fish. And teaching us how to fish is giving us our own economic easements. So I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. Sometimes I'd be thinking about running for office just to talk about people. Some days I do. Some days I think I'm going to run for Congress or president or whatever just to tell people you elected this dumb person. He dumb.
But it's not even that to me. It's, you know what it is to me? It's those organizations who allow for our people to be railroaded in this way. Like when we had the NAACP to be the only ones. First of all, they wouldn't even host a debate when I ran for mayor because he told them not to. So when it was time for Congress, they hosted a debate. I showed up because I know what I need to know. She didn't know. She didn't show up. And not physically. I'm just saying she didn't show up with policy or anything. She don't really know anything. They put it up and they took it off. First of all, it took them forever to put it up. And when they saw that she looked bad, they immediately took it down. And so she didn't even come to the next debate. You understand what I'm saying? So they're all, and let me tell you something. I used to have the utmost respect for Chairman Ham, and I'm not going to disrespect him now, but I'm going to say it's really ironic when the day I found out that his daughter was working at City Hall.
All right, gotta go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Really disappointed.
Sheila, say it again. Say it again, Sheila.
I found out that his daughter was working in City Hall. I was really disappointed, and that's what I'm going to say about that.
Hey, listen. I try to make light of situations. Because
the facts are the facts.
Exactly, and being more serious. And thank you both for coming on and giving your time. I know time is very valuable, and you two could have been doing something else, whether it was just taking care of yourself, self-care, or whatever. But you decided to come on this evening, and I appreciate you both. And we joke a lot. When I say we gotta organize a political action committee or some type of group that ladies and gentlemen, forgive my colloquialism, but oftentimes I say we got to get together and form a not fucking around crew, because our elected officials take us for granted, and we got to let them know we not messing around. And the reason why they take us for granted is because they get us all hyped up on the issue. But at the end of the day, they're in the back room cutting the deal, laughing at us all, no matter what side you on. And then they get upset with you if you operate outside of their poverty, the poverty pimping managerial class, and you go strike a deal for yourself. They'll do everything to sabotage you, but tell you when it's time for them to get reelected, they're about your advancement and your progression. What I'm saying to everyone out here, and what I want to say to Sheila and Muta, is to keep speaking truth to power in your way. I got mine and y'all got yours. But what I want you to say, what I want to say to everybody out here is agitate, agitate, agitate. In the words of Frederick Douglass, power can seize nothing without force. They ain't going to respect you if every time you come to them begging them. That you need to make them do it, just like Eisenhower said. Make me do it. The way you make them do it is you disrupt their money and you disrupt their electoral prognoses. That's how you do it. And when I say prognoses, I mean the real in the nuance factors. District leaders, county commissioners, assembly people, senators, all that. It ain't just about the big ticket items. Every item when it comes to elective office is a big ticket item. Every item, every position, assemblyman, a woman, a senator, congressman, county exec, county commissioner, all of it matters. School board member, it all matters. And we need to start acting like it all matters. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anton Will. I'm your host of Voice of the People United Community Forum. I just want to say thank you to Sheila Montague and Brother Muta El-Amin for joining me this evening. We went a little bit over an hour, but it's all love. And at the end of the day, we woke up this morning with our mind on freedom. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening. I want to say thank you to our guests, Sheila Montague and Brother Muta Elamine. I appreciate them joining us this evening. Be sure to tune in next Sunday. Brother Kevin Jenkins is now going to tear it up. We're going to have a lot to say. And hopefully Brother Emmanuel Avraham will be joining us next Sunday at the same time at 7 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anton Willie, your host of Voice of the People United Community Forum, and I want to say have a great and blessed evening. Good night.